And welcome back aboard Blur Force One with your boy Mo and your girl Polly. And this is the Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all of that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into the podcast today, you know what to do. Get down there and hit like on this video. So, welcome back, you guys. It is superhero January. I guess we could call it that. We finally
It
got
is. It is
something.
definitely
Yeah,
a hero genre.
yeah, we got something really cool to talk about this week. That's Wonder Man because it dropped a couple days ago. It has hit with a big splash. We watched all of it. We got our opinions on it, so that's going to be the focus of our main topic today. But we do have other things to talk about this week. Before we get into that, though, you know what we got to do? We got to say what's up to our resident Reed Richards truther and also just our comics geek. That, of course, is Polly. Polly, good to see you. How you doing? And what have you been up to
It
that's
is.
nerdy?
It is great to see me. I've been good. I've been good, doing some work, a lot of work actually, so much so that I did not read any comics. I did finish She-Hulk, but I talked about it a little bit, and I don't have a lot to say really. So, but I didn't get to read as many comics as I wanted to. It's a lot is going on right now. But I did watch Wonder Man. Obviously, of course, I did watch Wonder Man. The whole thing in one day. It was amazing. It was a great experience. We're gonna talk about it later.
Hmm.
Other than that, didn't do any Northern on a budget or anything, because
Need money.
the budget has limits. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been doing pretty well.
No Marvel Rivals this week, or you been that busy?
Ooh, a lot of Marvel Rivals
Okay, I was
this
gonna
week,
say.
and every week it's kind of a an ongoing thing. I keep losing. I don't know what's happening. It's like it's every match is like trying to fight for your life. I keep tanking for some reason, playing a DPS. It's a whole mess.
Yeah,
It's a
I
lot.
think you know what you need to join a team because then you can
I
practice.
do have a team.
Or
Yeah, I
do
do
you
have
have
a team. We're
a?
playing with the team, not the whole thing, six, but we're playing with like me and my three friends. And we're playing together. We have two randers in the team most of the time. But see, that's not the thing. It's just that matchmaking is so weird that every game is like work.
Right.
It's hard, but they do have fantastic, like fun costumes for the characters, and that's where my money goes.
Mm. Well,
You know,
yeah. I mean, I'm still probably not gonna play it, but
you should. It's good.
yeah. I mean, I gotta find time for it. Really. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I did have some time to do some nerdy stuff this week. You'd be surprised. You didn't read comics. I read comics. What's happening? It's like we reversed or something. It's crazy. I, you know what happened was on Tuesday, I was just hanging out at, waiting for Wonder Man to come out, and I watch it on an alternative website. Let's just say, because I don't want to. I don't want to be.
Which is not Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm not contributing to the Disney empire, but I did want to watch it. But of course, that means that it's not all out at once. So I didn't have anything to do on Tuesday night. I was like, all right, I got Global Comics. I'm gonna read some comic books, and I sat and I binged through Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman Volume One. They have all of those, for free with gold on Global
Really
Comics.
good books.
You did this. You most recently did this too, and you
Yeah.
spoke very highly of it. And also some recent events have really made me want to go and dig into Absolute Batman. So I did, and God dang it, those are good ass comics. Like I get it why they were like the among the top comics of the last like year of 2025. I fucking get it now. My God, that's they must. I think they came out in 24, right? They had to have come out in 24, but.
Yeah,
Either way,
probably.
I get it. Like the absolute universe is fascinating and really well realized. I like you can see that there was a lot of planning in it, but also each of the books is so different. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a much like you know what I like it like absolute Superman feels like a blockbuster movie, right? It feels like that scale. It feels like what Man of Steel wanted to be. Very much.
Oh, that's a burn. That's a burn.
No, no, and I mean it like, and I mean like it's got the scale and the scope, but Kal El, as different as his life is, like, and there may be even a little bit of Woman of Tomorrow influence on like his creation, but however that may be, there's a scale and scope to it that does not diminish the fact that he is ultimately still Kal El. He's still a person that loves humanity and he wants the best for people. I love that. Absolute Batman is it's a gritty crime story like befits Gotham, but its scale and scope is interesting, and also he's thoroughly Batman. He's like I'd even say he's woke DEI Batman in the best possible way. And he's still the world's greatest detective and smart guy. He just doesn't have all that money, and that doesn't matter because he is a god damn it, he's a force of nature. And they make Black Mask way more interesting than I think he's actually been in the comics. And obviously, there's a lot of connection. Like it's a very interesting Gotham. And finally, you're gonna think I'm weird. I think I like the Absolute Wonder Woman better than the other two. Like I think Absolute Wonder Woman is crazy, and it's not conception, but what it does with the character, kind of like flip some of the expectations of the character. But ultimately, underneath it all, she is Diana. She's Wonder Woman, and it turns like Cersei is like a way more interesting character, and then that big fight, like it is like a cinematic like a cinematic like Greek god epic writ on the page. It's beautifully like drawn. It's so good. I can't wait to read more of these. The Absolute Universe, it all makes sense why people are geeked up about it. It's so fucking good. Like it's excellent.
Absolute Green Lantern, by the way, also an amazing book, and it kind of comes back to what I said about it. These books, they take the characters, they change everything about them, but they keep the essence, and they end up being like the same characters with all the same values, with all the same messaging, but with different backstories. It's a very cool. It's cool as an experiment in how much you can change about the character. And it's just great storytelling in general.
Yeah, the funny thing is I finished reading these and I'm like, man, are they gonna adapt these? And then I had to slap myself and be like, nope, don't stop thinking like that.
Maybe animated, like
it would be cool, but like in some ways, I kind of want them to let it marinate for a while and just because the MCU does this and DCU obviously they will, but they'll steal the best ideas from the comics. They won't do the exact comics, but they'll steal the best aspects of the comics. And one fortunate thing about Absolute Batman, is they can't do that without ruffling the feathers of a lot of oligarchs, right? As a comic book, it can be subversive and like get away with it, but if it's a big, $200 million epic, there's no way. They're not going to let that happen.
Yes and no, because you can't have him be a billionaire these days. It's just different. It's a different time. It's not the same character from the 40s that you could have it like that back then. It was different. You can't have it like that now because we're in an entirely different space. So that's why they keep taking money away from all the characters. Like Tony Stark loses his company, Bruce Wayne loses his millions or billions. I think he lost billions. He ended up with millions, and now,
oh no,
I mean, he's pretty much broke in terms of rich people. But they keep taking it all away from the characters because you can't have them have this money and people not questioning how they came to have it, and most of them came to have it in very odd semi-legal ways. So, like
Yeah,
making weapons, exactly. Thing with Tony Stark. So
and
yeah,
yeah, well,
they're righting
also
these wrongs in a
yeah,
way.
yeah, also being hella rich, like ultra wealthy, also calls into question how heroic you can be. Because that's one of the complaints against Batman, and I think it's valid. I don't care. Anybody can argue me down on this, but they'll be like, well, he donates to charity. I'm like, yeah, but he's still a billionaire, so he ain't that. How much he ain't
He doesn't
donate?
need all that.
He ain't donating that much. Like, how much is he donating? Really? Like like I always say, there's no such thing as a good billionaire, even the ones you like. They're all bad because they're hoarding wealth. They could be doing, there's 8 billion people on this planet. They could collectively be solving the problems, even if they're not just handing people money. They could be solving the problems that help everybody. Instead, they're hoarding wealth. So Bruce Wayne, same fucking thing. I don't care how many times you hit Joker in the face, that doesn't tell me, whatever. I don't care how many millions you give to charity. You are a billionaire. $1 million is a drop in your fucking bucket. Make moves. So now you strip
I
that
don't.
away.
He doesn't necessarily like. He doesn't just take the money and donate it to poor people. No, he does it differently. He goes through this whole charity organizations that,
Hmm.
and we don't know where this money ends up.
Yep.
Gotham is not getting any better.
Yeah, it's not like he's not
For
a
all we know,
look.
somebody's stealing it.
Think
This
about it
corruption
this
is
way.
still there.
Bruce Wayne's not a forensic accountant, and also he's got other shit to do. Like most of his life is pretending to be Bruce Wayne and then looking after crime and like shit and superpowered stuff. He ain't. How much time's he got in his day to be a forensic accountant for the 17 charities that the Wayne Foundation deals with, or whatever, or that Wayne Enterprise deal with? He's not going through their books like that, making sure there ain't no skimming off the top. Lucius Fox got other shit to do too. I mean, like, you get what I'm saying? So anyway, that's way off the point. The point is, the Absolute Universe is dope, and I love the comics. I'm so glad that I just didn't have anything else to do, and I'm just sat there for hours, just like binging through these because it was worth every fucking minute, and I cannot wait to read more.
Green Lantern, check it
Yeah,
out.
as soon as I can find, I really am gonna probably subscribe to DC Universe Infinite at least for a month, and like get through all the stuff they got. So, all right, well, that's cool. That's what I've been up to. That's nerdy. So that means it's time for us to talk about our news. Look, some cool shit is happening this week. As I said, we are going to talk about Wonder Man. Oh, let me pause real quick. We are also going to be talking about the passing of a comic book legend. Lobo, we get a first look at the live action version from that with Jason Momoa. James Gunn has some words to say about people talking shit about Christina Hodson. Black Panther 3, we get some new details about that. Some of them may or may not be true. We'll see. Then we're going to do a little bit of discussion, which is that the comics agree with us. ICE, the Immigration and Custom Enforcement in the United States, sucks. And the comics will tell you why. Then we're going to talk about the Daredevil Born Again trailer and our review of Wonder Man. I swear I can talk for real. Anyway, it's a lot of cool stuff. You ready to get into this?
Oh yeah.
All right, well, let's do this. So, a comic book legend, Sal Buscema, I think I'm saying it right, dies at the age of 89. That is, and if you don't know the name, that's fine. I really want you though to like learn something about comic books, because he is the brother of why am I not saying his right? John Buscema, right? Who actually died about 24 years ago, 24 years ago. Another legendary comic book artist. Now, if you read anything in the Silver Age, some Golden Age and Silver Age, I guess it really is, comics, you've seen their art. You've seen Sal Buscema's art. He's not as famous as well regarded, but pretty close to his brother John. Drew Spider-Man for years, drew Incredible Hulk for years, just like a legend in the industry. Like seriously, probably if you ever have some Silver Age like T-shirts or posters, you've probably seen his art. But he died at age 89, which I say ripe old age for for anybody. Please let me get to be 89. That'd be dope. Um, I kind of want to just note this, like real quick. You as someone who you read more than your fair share of Silver Age stuff. I'm not sure how
Oof.
much you've seen
Not
his work.
Spider-Man, not Incredible Hulk. Definitely, I think I might have seen it somewhere, but I don't. I'm not thinking of anything in particular right now. So
Yeah, well, I think he was in the bullpen during I think some of the formative years of, and also he's one of those guys that could churn out mad pages. Like that used to be one of the things you had to do is you couldn't be like, oh, I can't make my deadline. They didn't want to hear that. No,
hmm
nobody at Marvel, and also he was a stalwart at Marvel. Like just kind of a legend. I'm gonna just say one of the foundational people. He doesn't get like he's not Kirby, he's not Ditko. Kirby and Ditko are obviously giants, but still definitely one of the big names that you saw month in and month out from Marvel Comics. Like I said, if you go back and reread the Silver Age, you'll see his name, and I think you'll appreciate like his work on Spider-Man and Hulk and so forth. So that being said, we're glad we had him. We're glad that we had someone with that kind of skill and also just like craftsmanship that made our comics the way they are. And so, rest in peace to Sal Buscema. And also, y'all go read some Silver Age comics and see what I'm talking about. Um,
that's gonna take some time.
well, look, go back. I'm pretty sure if you go, in fact, they do it on Marvel Unlimited. You can look up by creator. So just go look up by
Yeah.
creator and take a look at his work and see what he's working with. So Lobo, everyone's been waiting on Lobo. I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm not big on Lobo. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not like
I
I
have
don't really
not
know him.
seen him in any comics, and I haven't read a lot of DC comics. I don't really know what kind of character he is. I just saw a lot of pictures, and yeah, I mean, people are excited. Good. I'm not that excited.
Right. Well,
I
we
know he was not in. He's supposed to be in the Woman of Tomorrow, right? And
right.
he was not in the comic book, so I don't
But
know what to expect.
well, I mean, but they were like, yeah, but we're gonna put him in there anyway. So what who knows what exactly he's gonna do
Why not?
within the comics. He's basically like a biker, like like a Hell's Angel or biker or something like that. But he's in space and he's incredibly tough and powerful. To the point of like he can fight with a Kryptonian and not die immediately. Like a Kryptonian will have a really hard time killing Lobo. That's what I'm trying to say. He's a very popular character, one that I've never really read, but I've seen him around and things here and there. He has an interesting look. He's like, what if Tombstone from the Marvel comics was a Hell's Angel and like, you know,
Always gave me the impression of like a really huge Kiss fan.
yeah, that part too. Even though he might disagree with
It's like
that.
more of like what if Ghost Rider was a fan of Kiss?
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, what if Rob Zombie designed like a biker, but he has like a catchphrase. I think he says Bastich because it was the
Well, at
80s.
least he doesn't say it's like
Yeah,
Robin time.
well, it's the 80s and they can't say real. You remember if you ever read like 70s and 80s stuff, instead of cussing, they'll make the character say something
Oh yeah.
that's a stand-in. That's why Power Man, aka Luke Cage, says "Sweet Christmas," and then they later have to explain why he doesn't actually cuss, and then, why he says "Sweet Christmas" instead. It's
He
stuff
likes
like that.
Christmas, okay?
It's like
He's a holiday man.
I mean, it's that or what I think the official thing is that it's a swear jar thing. So he's sad to say that instead of swearing.
Well, he has a kid. He can't curse at home.
Yeah, it's
Jessica can though.
Well, she doesn't care. But yeah, so Lobo, Jason Momoa was like, "Oh, this is my dream. Like, this is my dream character more than Aquaman." Literally, he says that. Like, and they even had a whole little thing where they did a, he comes out of the dressing thing and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be Lobo. I'm excited and everything." And also more background. Remember back when Peter Safran and James Gunn took over DC Studios? He took a meeting with them, and the Hollywood Reporter even said when he came out the meeting, he was super pumped, and he was like, "Yes, I'm so excited, I can't wait." Right? And he didn't say why or who he was playing. He was just super pumped about it. And so we know he's gonna be Lobo. We got a glimpse of him, a very small glimpse of him, very briefly in like a teaser trailer for Supergirl, and they were just like, you know what, we're just gonna show you a real one. So they actually put out a little, like, real short trailer teaser where you actually see him and his space hog and everything like that, and they put out a character poster, and this is, I'm gonna be honest, this is their DC's answer of sorts to Deadpool, which I think he predates Deadpool, I think, within the comics, but this is their Deadpool of sorts. That he's that sort of subversive character.
When was he written?
I think he came out.
That screamed the 80s.
He's from the 80s, and he doesn't break character. He's not a fourth wall breaker. What I mean is, he's that kind of like edgy, iconic character that kind of comes in and just like it brings cool factor into the whole situation. A lot of
Deadpool don't do that.
Well, a lot of Deadpool is style. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of him. He brings a lot of style into a story or onto the comic page, and that's kind of what Lobo is too. Now y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a big Lobo guy, but that's what he is. And Momoa is a lot of that too. Am I wrong about that? He just brings style. He just brings vibes. He brings
the same style to everything.
Well, I mean, he brings that. He brings that like knockoff Lenny Kravitz vibe to almost anything. But it's true. Hey, y'all can. Hey,
that's a burn on so many levels.
Don't be mad at me. I'm keeping it real. He's a knockoff Lenny. But look, if you have to be a knockoff of anybody,
I got so many questions.
If you have to be a knockoff of anybody, Lenny Kravitz is a great one to be a knockoff of. He's just a cool looking person. And Momoa is too. I think Momoa is one of the coolest looking like actors, just on visually and on vibes. He's one of the coolest looking actors that are going today. And so now he's bringing that bit to another character who, like I said, is mostly looks and vibes. He's got a cool catchphrase. He's tough, but I dare you to tell me a good story that like really digs down into the character and really gets him. So anyway, the point is they put all this stuff out. What did you think about this poster and this little thing?
Again, if I were a fan, I probably would be excited. I'm not a fan of Lobo. I don't know a lot about him. I'll see him and then I'll know. I mean, it's fun that they're doing all this promo stuff. I love how they're doing it. It's not, some. Well, let's go back to to the teasers release or something like that. It's not like that. It's accessible. They're just showing what they got, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
So
they're
cool.
What they say, they're chumming the waters. Like, if you know, and you're like, yeah, hell yeah. And if you don't
know, you're gonna find out.
Yeah. If you don't know, you're gonna be like, who the hell is this? Like, what? Because again, there's a cool
They
look.
Probably should have thrown in like the here is a comic book where you can read about Lobo.
Oh, should have
done that.
I think they probably should have, but also, we're gonna get more of that soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just a look about it, and you're just like, who the hell is this? It's cool looking, and especially if you see the little teaser, and he's got like a motorcycle, that makes sense. So I think if you don't know, you'll be intrigued and be like, all right, let me see what's going on there. What is, what's this all about? So I think that again, DC Studios marketing, they're really kind of on it. Like they're kind of on. They're not too much, not too little. They're not giving too much away. They're just like, hey, here's a character. It looks cool. You should check him out. So good job on that. We'll keep an eye on this. Hopefully we'll see a bit more of him in the official trailer, because so far we've only seen the teasers, and we'll check it out then. Which leads us again another DC Studios thing. So last week we talked about weirdos on the internet being,
Weirdos.
being weirdos, but pretending like they know a fuck thing about how to write anything. When there's talking about Christina Hodson and being mad about her being the writer for Brave and the Bold. And let me just say, I personally think, like, between the two of us, I personally think we did a good job of just, like, taking down a lot of the foolishness, a lot of stupid ass arguments and ideas that are coming from this small segment of fandom that pretends like it knows what it's talking about. These people that
5 people sitting in the same basement.
Yeah, I mean, and all sharing one stick of deodorant.
Very smelly.
Yeah, they're sharing one stick of deodorant, maybe.
Oh, well, you're being very, very generous.
Well, I didn't say they were all using it. I just said they were sharing it. It's probably. I bet it's almost. It's like 99% still unused.
It's new. It's new. It's an open.
No, it's not new. They've had it a while. It just is 99% unused. No, I think we did a good job of like being like, look, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You couldn't write a good thing to save your life. You're thinking that just because what you see on the screen is what the writer wrote, that's not true. This person's clearly got the approval, and also the they have the approval and the trust of James Gunn, which is all that should fucking matter, right? If they've been hired to do something, they're not nothing, and they have more finished screenplays than any of you complainers have. So shut the fuck up and let her cook. But it's the internet. People don't know how to fucking act. That said, somebody asked James Gunn directly, just straight up directly, hey, I've been seeing people, shit on Christina Hodson, and it makes me sad. Like, what, I just don't like it. And he said, let me go in here and like actually read it directly, so I can make sure I don't get his words wrong. So he said in response, he said, I will only say anyone maligning Christina Hodson's screenwriting skills has almost certainly never read an actual screenplay by Christina Hodson. She's one of the writers who was with us early in the DCU planning stages. I don't think you can judge my writing based on films others directed, as massive liberties are sometimes taken. Oh, it's almost like some shit we said. So, big fucking surprise. Oh, did we say that last week? I feel like we said that last week, right? And in fact, I think you were the one that brought that up specifically. That what's on the page doesn't necessarily end up on the screen. And also, he's literally saying, like, and I saw the picture where it like the kind of like the brain trust over there that's developing the DCU. She's been there from the beginning. So all you people that are like, yay, Superman, and yay, Creature Commandos, y'all think she had nothing to do with any of that? That is what we're gonna pretend. This is the bullshit I don't like from fans. That again, we're fans too. We don't know what we're talking about, right? But this is, you assume that you know so much about the process of getting from point A to point B, and you didn't like Birds of Prey, so you want to lay it at the writer's feet. Like, and to be fair, some of it could have been on her, her ideas or whatever. But the writer writes a script. It's approved by somebody with some theoretically some idea about what good story is, reads it, says this is the shit. Let's make something out of it. Then a director is chosen, and they've got to execute it. And if they don't execute it, how is that the writer's fault? Like, y'all are blaming her instead of like, what about the creative producer that that approved the script? What about the executive producers? What about the cinematographer? What about there's so many people in
Mm-hmm.
the process that honing in on the writer seems stupid. Like, it's not completely dumb, but it's like they're not the only people that had anything to do with this. And
Mm-hmm.
as we
Sometimes
said,
it's a team effort, and like a lot of times it's a team effort. Sometimes they invite people to fix the script, to change the script, and this is not necessarily the person who wrote the script originally. Sometimes the director reads it and has different ideas than the writer when they wrote it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a team effort, and if the result is not satisfactory, then the whole team is to blame, not any one particular person. Like, I mean, in any process where more than one person is involved, most of y'all have jobs. Think about it. Like, if the final product is shit, is it your fault in particular?
Yeah, but
it's never my fault. I don't know.
Yeah, there's two things going on. Obviously, it's misogyny. If you want to say no, it's not misogyny, fuck off. We're past the point of
we're not stupid. We're not naive.
No, we're not stupid, and we're past the point of pretending like y'all's complaints are anything other than bigotry. Like, I get it, you don't like Birds of Prey, whatever, but Christina Hodson, clearly knows what she's doing. And also, there's been plenty of people who've had bad scripts or bad movies or whatever, and they move on. Every time, what's his name? If Tom Cruise has a bad performance in a movie, which doesn't happen often, but if he does, that doesn't mean we're like, oh, we write off his next thing, right? And also, the other thing is,
well, it only works for white men.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I want to point out is that y'all don't really know her work beyond the two things you've seen. Y'all don't know her work.
If they've seen it.
Yeah. So
what are the chances that people who are loudly complaining actually watched Birds of Prey?
Well, here's a better question. Well, that's a good question too. I will admit that they did probably watch Birds of Prey, and a lot of them were hate watching. A better question is, how many of you people that are sitting up here complaining and talking about bad writing and whatever, how many movies a year do you watch? How many actual movies a year do you watch? Because if it's just this shit, the superhero stuff, if it's just like, oh, you'll watch like one of the tent poles, if you watch one movie a month, maybe something like that, you can shut all the way the hell up about
next thread, like if they're complaining about this, and in the next thread they're like wondering why Sinners got so many nominations.
Yeah.
I don't want any opinions from them.
This is what I'm getting at is, a lot of these people, I want to see your letterboxed, because I don't go to as many movies as I used to, but I still hit the theater at least a few times a month, right? At least a few times, and not counting, I'll watch a movie or two at home or whatever, and I'm far down from what I used to watch. And at the most, one year I watched 75 movies, and that was at the theater. I'm not talking about at home. I'm talking about at the theater. So all of you people that are sitting up here talking shit, one, you ain't a screenwriter. You couldn't write yourself out of a paper bag. You don't watch enough movies to actually have an informed opinion. And also, James Gunn co-signed her. So yeah, your fucking opinions are stupid. That's what I'm trying to say. This is I've been dancing around it. Your opinions are stupid and uninformed and stupid. So James Gunn said, nah, fuck off. She's good, and I don't care what y'all got to say. Y'all stop shitting on her. Real talk. That's why I say James Gunn, boy, he got this the social media shit down. He know he's on it, and I'm glad he's out there because he ain't letting this shit linger, and that's good. So anyway, that was cool, and we'll keep an eye on Brave and the Bold whenever it comes out. Um, Black Panther 3 has some new details. Now, how much of this is legit? I can't say. I saw this on a post, and it's about Black Panther, so I'm required to talk about it. You know, guys, I just am. Uh, because, of course, Black Panther is one of my favorite. In fact, I will say I think Black Panther is my favorite MCU movie. Yeah, I think so. Uh,
Oh,
and
that's such a hard question. I won't even get into it.
yeah, you
So
don't.
hard
Look,
to
you don't have
decide.
to co-sign. I'm not requiring anybody to co-sign
It
this.
is up there. I mean, I would probably have to pick between Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. Both are amazing. Both are on the same level for me.
Yeah, and I'm not. If y'all have a different opinion, that's fine because there are many good choices for a best MCU movie. That's just my personal favorite, and I will admit I have bias because of connection to the material. Okay, because Black Panther
Yeah.
was, I have connection to the material and whatever. But whatever. The point is, Black Panther 3 is
Probably
really.
still waiting on the X-Men.
Black Panther 3 is going to be a big deal. According to Nerd Talk Show, so I'm going to assume that some of this was on point. They are going to begin filming in, looks like June, mid-June. Yay.
June 15th, yeah.
Yeah, in London. Okay, fine. Which means there's going to be a lot of soundstage stuff for this. We have to accept it. I don't know about volume, but definitely soundstage stuff. They're going to, and we talked about kind of the reason why it's probably not going to be Atlanta. Remember last year we were like, oh yeah, that whole, they're moving a lot of their stuff to London because of no single payer healthcare here in the United States, basically. Pretty much the reason. So they're going to be in London, according to this post. Denzel Washington, we know, is attached to it because he kind of let the cat out of the bag last year. Who is he going to be? We don't know. Achebe is on the table, but they say possibly Buscema, the first Black Panther, which will be cool. But also, how much could he possibly be in the movie as the first Black Panther? This is like, if you take the comics seriously, he was in the first Avenger. What was it? Avengers 1,000,000 BC or something like that. Did you ever read that? It's such a weird conception to me.
But you know what? They give it to like Marvel. They do love to take some very famous, pretty much legendary actor and throw them into the movie for 15 minutes.
Yeah, but there'll be an important 15 minutes. I'll tell you that much. Like Rene Russo was not in a huge amount of Thor: The Dark World, Thor: The Dark World. But good God, when she was in it, great, right? Even Anthony Hopkins, he wasn't in it as Odin all that much, but still very, very good. So we'll see. I hope it's not Buscema. I would love for it to be Achebe because what a great villain that doesn't have any powers. No powers. Just really good at stirring people.
Just really mean.
Yeah, he's really good at stirring people up. Like he's a master manipulator. So I would love for that to be true. We'll see. It further goes on. I feel like this is more rumor shit, so we're gonna get into it. Supposedly there are mutants that are gonna be in the film. Now, because
Namor.
Well, yes, Namor, yes. But you are the resident. I think you're the resident X-Men fan and
the resident
and
X-Men. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Your power is you have two powers. One of them is to hate on Reed Richards, and the other is to read lots of comics.
And the other, yeah. I don't sleep. That's my power.
It says gentle, storm, mosaic, tattoo, and manifold. Now, I don't know those last two. In fact, I don't even think I know mosaic. I know.
You know
gentle.
what? I'm gonna say this, but that does sound like bullshit because Storm has no reason being there. Not
I agree.
before the X-Men are introduced. Not
Wait, wait,
before
wait,
she
wait.
gets her own introduction. Hmm?
But if this is coming out after Secret Wars,
Who knows?
but if they're
Uh,
filming this year, usually you film
doesn't Not
this year
likely, not likely.
to
I mean,
come out.
unless they
Yeah,
have the story, and if they don't have the story for the
the post MC,
for
the
Secret
post Secret
Wars,
Wars. But I think that they,
yeah.
yeah. But
I mean,
also,
they have plans, but I don't think that they have the story. Gentle and Manifold, again, why would they be there? First, you need to introduce like the first line of mutants, or the second line of mutants, or the third line of mutants, and then you can introduce these characters because they are not the founding members. They're interesting for sure.
but
I would
if
love to see them, but I don't think they're not
yeah,
gonna be
well,
there.
if it wouldn't make sense if Secret Wars reboots the entire universe so that mutants were always around. If it reboots them so that mutants are just a part of the world, right? Not that they're just now being discovered, but that it's been like Charles and Magneto were, operating in the 60s and 80s or whatever, 30, 40 years in the past, 30, 40 years in the past.
That's gonna present a different issue. You can, I mean, both Charles and Magneto have their teams, and their teams are iconic characters that we're reading about now. They don't have replacement characters that are this strong on this same level. That you can just throw in at the general audience. You have to use, the original 5, let's skip them. You don't necessarily have to use like Jean Grey.
Or Bobby. You don't need Iceman.
Well, Iceman is, I think, more important to everything than Bobby. You probably have to have Beast. They're gonna probably have Beast. Scott Summers, yes. I would vote for Emma Frost. Storm, definitely. Wolverine, not necessarily, but probably yes, they should. These heroes, these characters, they definitely gonna want to have on the screen, and we haven't seen the True to Comics Storm yet. So they're gonna go with those for sure. Absolutely, they're gonna do them justice. They're gonna use them. Who are they gonna use from the younger generation? The youngest mutants currently in the books? I don't think so. They do not have and I think I said that already. They do not have staying power. We don't know if they're gonna stick around. We don't know if they're gonna be pushed back after the current runners, current writing teams are replaced, which is gonna happen inevitably. You can have like Rogue and Gambit. Yeah, they're fan favorites. They're probably gonna use them. But again, these are characters that originated in 70s and 80s. You don't have these iconic characters from 2000s. That's the thing.
Right.
And they're gonna definitely go with the original.
Right. I mean, well, I feel like you're probably right about this, but it would play into what these further like supposed details are. So where they say Wakanda will be a refuge for some mutants. It says there's a new Black Panther, and Shuri's one of the main characters. I mean, that makes sense. New Black Panther if this is post Secret Wars, that makes sense, right?
Again, not sure. I don't think that it's a good idea to present Shuri as the Black Panther and then introduce another Black Panther. You don't have to do that. You can have the King of Wakanda, who is not a Black Panther.
Right. Well, and we already know we're going to see M'Baku as that. This could be true. This is one of those things where it's just good enough to maybe be true. But
it does sound like a fan theory.
Yeah. They also
because take all the black characters, throw them into the same story, Black Panther, because black again, and then yay, let's have everyone. Who else are you gonna throw in there? Cloak, and
Dagger, not,
Luke Cage. Dagger is not invited. No, sorry.
They're gonna do the cookout scene from that one.
Dagger's gonna be standing outside on the streets
You're not invited to the cookout. Sorry.
Tyrone, you gonna be long.
She's probably clutching her purse too, but whatever.
Looking around.
I was like, she's gonna cross over to the other side of the street. Is that what happens? They said that it's possible that Kraven the Hunter could appear. It said it's not ruled out. I hope it's Aaron Taylor Johnson. Come on, let's go. Like they dropped the ball on having. Ryan Coogler said that Kraven the Hunter was on the table at first for Black Panther.
Look again. If I hear that man try to speak Russian again, I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna teach him some Russian.
You know, he would.
That was terrible.
He needs to hook up with Florence Pugh's voice coach or dialect coach, because they did.
I think it's like either you have it or you don't. You don't.
I think they would have done better to have him, instead of growing up in Russia. Instead, he grew up in America with a Russian dad, and like so his Russian is necessarily going to be colored by the fact that he's American. You know, like just like.
But what he was speaking is not somebody who grew up around like any Russian.
Well, Sony didn't pay him to sound good in Russian. they didn't pay him.
Maybe he asked for like another million to actually learn.
No, he's like.
And they were, nah, you're good.
Yeah, they didn't pay him enough for that. Let's see, what was. It says that last thing is T'Challa will be a great political leader with a connection to Charles Xavier. So that's shades of the Illuminati, which, okay.
I don't think they're going to do that again.
I think if they are going to do the Illuminati, the best place to do it is going to be Secret Wars. I think the best place.
That's the only place to do it, because after that, they're pretty much useless.
Yeah. So we've already seen the Illuminati in a sense in Multiverse of Madness. But I think a true Illuminati... Well, I don't even want to say they're not a true Illuminati, but the fact that they didn't have Namor on board was like that. To me, that's not real. That Illuminati we saw isn't real, because Captain America...
Doesn't count without him.
Captain America or Captain Britain would never be a part of a group like that.
Mm-hmm.
And without Namor on board... You're basically saying one major, or a Black Panther with no Black Panther and no Namor on board, two of the major, most powerful nations on Earth aren't involved in decision making for the whole planet. Get out of here! Nobody believes that. But I would believe.
Keep in mind that nobody knows that Telecon exists, but you know what? Again, when we come back to like having any kind of mutants aside from Namor there in this movie, I don't buy it. I really don't buy it, because it just doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, I think you think that just feels like they're shoehorning them in because it's pretty clear,
because they want to see them. Yeah, it's a fan theory.
I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be I think it's pretty clear that mutants are going to be a big deal. So they're just like, well, how big a deal? Yeah, and you know, we're gonna fit them in everywhere, basically. So either way,
we'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll keep an eye on, see if any of this is true. The most that I think is true is yes, it's happening now. You know, they're going to do the next one. So that leads us to. Let's do a discussion. We're gonna talk about controversial shit. I feel like it goes without saying, like this. Look, I'm left leaning. You know, Polly's left leaning. Comics are left leaning. You know, debate with your mama. And
who's also left leaning?
Yeah. And in this day and age of far right extremism taking over government. Polly, you've been through it yourself personally, just like 10 years ago. I'm going to say 10 years ago, but it's probably been before that, because, the country you're from, that you hail from, had been on a rightward trajectory for the better part of a few decades. You know, Glasnost was cool, and you know the
I mean, aside from the 90s, it's pretty much its whole history.
yeah, it's I mean, and I think the 90s were like such an anomaly just because they're like, yay, freedom and capitalism.
They kind of forgot
yay.
for a while. They forgot that.
Yeah, they were like freedom, capitalism, oligarchy. Wait a minute, oligarchy. We like that.
Yeah, and then we're right back.
Yeah, right back to where, you know, saying, you know, welcome to the new master, same as the old master. But you experienced this here in America. It took us some time, but we got around to right-wing authoritarianism that's based in racism, which I'm going to say it's based in racism, and I'm gonna assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's also based in racism in Russia. Was that as?
I'd say in many ways, yes.
Yeah, it comes back down to, you know, tribalism, whatever, but racism here in America. Anyway, the point is, we have a fascist authoritarian one, not even a good fascist, just like fascist, you know, clumsy ass fascist.
They're a good fascist. Is that a thing?
They're not good at their jobs. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, they're good at the jackboot thug bullshit, but anybody can fucking do that. Anybody can just like gather a bunch of like bigoted people, give them badges and billy clubs, and set them loose on people. Like, that's not even fucking hard. But they're just not good at. They're not good at it. They're liars and whatever. And these are untrained. You know, ICE. They've been going around raiding and terrorizing and whatever the fuck. They're a terrorist organization. Again, if you don't agree with me, debate with your mama. I don't give a shit. I can see with my own two eyes, right? What did George Orwell say in 1984? The parties, the last thing they want you to do, the final thing they want you to do, is to ignore what your eyes and ear hear and see, you know, see and hear, and believe what the party says. That's the shit that's the point we're at right now. So when someone gets killed, like, and a lot of times we don't have cameras on everything, so there's a lot of people that get killed by ICE, in ICE custody, or shot down by them or whatever. We'll never see it. There was no cameras, right? But it happens. But it just so happens that 2 white people got murdered by ICE, right? On camera, in a way that is very clear. They didn't provoke not a fuck thing. And they were actually murdered. You know, being killed versus being murdered, those are 2 different things. You know, they're not necessarily the same thing. You know, you can try to attack somebody and they shoot you and you die. All right, you were killed. But these were murders because these were not people, you know, these were intentional acts of violence, of deadly violence against 2 people who posed no threat and were in fact, you know, not resisting. And even if they were resisting, who gives a damn, because resisting arrest is not an executable offense. Unless you're a jackbooted thug, aka a terrorist or organization that ICE is. And they're trying to tell us, hey, don't fucking believe what you saw. We don't care about those things. They deserved it. They deserved it because...
You know, if you look at this, hasn't resisting arrest been an executable offense for a while?
If you're
for
black.
A very long time now. Yeah,
if you're black, sure. And that's there. You know, I have my feelings about this is it's about fucking time y'all notice, and I'm white Americans. That's who I'm talking to. It's about fucking time you noticed it. I'm glad that y'all were like, oh, George Floyd, that's crazy. You should have been talking to your fucking cousins and uncles and other that tried to make it out that he deserves to be killed, or that somehow it was his fault. Because now y'all are mad that these 2, you know, people who did not deserve to die. I'm not saying they deserve to die. They're the same shit that happened to George Floyd is happening to them. They're making all this. They're literally making fake AI shit to justify it, right? They are, you know, they lied about, the administration lied, and now all of the followers, all of the cultists, MAGA cultists, are running with the lies, even though there's literal multiple camera angle video of the situation. Multiple camera angles that show it's bullshit, and they're still running with it. So, ICE, I said ICE sucks. The people who support them suck. ICE sucks. And what the fuck does this have to do with comic books? What does it have to do with superheroes? Here's a big fucking surprise. In the comics, they've been saying this shit too. You'd be surprised some of the people who say it, because like Frank Miller is not he's right wing. It's not by any means on our side now, at least. But The Dark Knight Returns was pretty clear about how the GCPD was trash and fascist and authoritarian, and Batman was fucking going against. He's beating up cops because of it, right? We see in the entirety of X-Men. Like, you like X-Men. What the Bolivar Trask is just, it's like Dan, what's it, Bongino, whatever the fuck it is, the guy that he was the head of ICE and now he's fired. It's like he read the X-Men comics, is like, mutant, the mutant task force.
Like, oh my God, Trask, such a hero.
What a
Gyrick.
Yeah,
There's always
that's not a warning. It's a blueprint. That's just why I'm saying. And when we shit on conservative comic book and sci-fi fans, we do it for a reason, because you bitches will read this stuff and watch. Like, you literally have people talking about how the Empire, like, liberals are the Empire, and Han Solo shot first because, and I'm like, you're either an idiot or you are really dishonest when you take that to be what happened. And it's fucking wild. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this because I've been angry about ICE for a while, but this is like, all right, good. White people are finally paying attention. Maybe we can talk about it in a way that matters. And also, because of comic books, I wanted to ask you, like, in your opinion, like, what are some comic books or whatever that kind of, like, like I said, are saying the same thing, that ICE sucks, like that they are on the wrong side of this?
Not in particular. I don't think that I would recall any comics that are talking about ICE in particular.
Well, I don't mean ICE, but
in terms of immigration, Superman. Hello.
Yeah.
The recent movie, specifically that thing. The entirety of the X-Men. It's always they're always standing up against government because the government is trying to kill them.
Exactly.
They're always trying to make everyone else see what is being done to them, and like most of the people, even other heroes, they choose to ignore it sometimes. So kind of like when one of my favorite scenes is during Civil War, when I think it was Tony Stark came to Emma Frost, and he was talking about like this whole thing and what's going on, what they're doing, what they're planning. And they were planning, like, if you remember, they were planning to take these people, superpowered people, superpowered children, away from their families, put them into training facilities, and then create government sanctioned superhero teams. When Tony Stark came to Emma Frost, she was like, you know what, we've been through this with the mutant registration. We ain't getting involved with this. It's your problem. Deal with it now. So yeah, X-Men, definitely about that.
Yeah.
Even the state that the MCU is in right now with Wonder Man, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, also talks about that in many ways. If I had to remember, probably Daredevil. The whole thing with him and God, my cats are going crazy.
They're anti-ICE too.
Well, they anti each other, I think. the whole thing with Fisk becoming mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Exactly.
pretty much it's not even every decade, it happens often, it happens a lot in the comics, but pretty much like most of the stories talk about that. They do talk about like what eventually the government is going to do something that is going to be wrong, and you have to be able to recognize it, and you have to be able to stand up to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of the comics. I don't know how people can not understand it. It's just it seems very obvious to me. Also, like Valiant comics, like Harbinger and Harbinger Wars and stuff like that.
That's a good
Wire,
call.
very good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite books.
I got it, and I need to go back and read those. I've heard good things, so
they're so good. A friend recommended them to me. I like bought all I could find. I have two great deluxe hardcovers of Livewire and Harbinger. Harbinger Wars. Anyway, that's most of the comics are about that.
Right.
Specifically that.
Yeah.
Every superhero is always telling you, like, they all eventually come up against government.
Unless they're
that is trying to
unless they're John Walker.
Every future that X-Men, like every terrible future that X-Men have that they're trying to prevent, from Days of Future Past to Age of Revelation. Same thing.
Yeah.
If you don't understand it, if you've been reading the comics your whole life and you still don't understand it, I don't know, probably like go back and learn to read again, because you clearly missed some lessons.
I think it's not just willful ignorance, it's the desire to want to be, like, people want to be the Empire, but they want the mystique and the prestige of the rebels. And so, like, they don't recognize
that's not prestigious. They're not prestigious. They're not necessarily the good guys all the time, and it's not easy. It's hard. Like these people, they clearly and obviously would side with the Empire because it's easier. Mm-hmm. Because that way they don't have to do anything. They don't have to like actually stand up, actually become a target.
Yeah.
Because when you speak out, when you try to do something against this kind of government, you become a target.
Exactly. I'm gonna quote one comic book writer, but I will note that by and large, most, like I said, if y'all be like, oh, why when the comics become so woke, y'all need to pay attention. But like a lot of the comic creators, even down to Stan and Jack and all of them, had even Stan and Jack and in their time, they were a lot more progressive than the times were, and they presented that within their comics. Even though now they might be seemed a little more conservative than our current politics is, but at the time was like you could literally would see where they would be like, oh, it's like in a Superman comic, it's un-American to like treat people different because of race or color or whatever, right? Or religion. That's the sort of thing they would normally do in the comics. Like they would like it, and there was a lot of like contemporary kind of conservative thought too, but a lot of it was quite progressive. So comic book writers, a lot of them are really in their way trying to present the world they think should be, and they will stand up. Like so, I don't know this writer, but apparently he writes Hulk or Immortal Hulk or something like that. Philip K. Johnson posted on social media, like somebody was like, just stick to writing comics and stop talking about politics. And he was like, this is what he said in response to that. He said, this should not be a controversial, even noteworthy stance. Their blanket ineptitude, cruelty, and growing body count of American citizens and others should make opposition to these mass Gestapo schmucks enthusiastic and universal. But yes, I did say this, bring it. So basically, he's just like, no, I'm standing on what I said. They are just, and it's not necessarily amazing or even a good thing to call them Gestapo. It's just a convenient label because everyone is, unless you meet a truly terrible person, or Nazis are pretty universally condemned and reviled. and Gestapo is a byword for jackbooted thugs that are at, by the government. So I don't love that Gestapo is on, because in America, there's always been a Gestapo. It's just been, local police departments or sheriffs or whatever terrorizing black and brown people. It's, that's why a lot of us are just like, oh, you're finally catching up to the shit we've been going through and talking about. But good on him and for standing on it. And other artists and comic creators are the same. I forget the guy's name, but for this little thumbnail we have, the guy that had like absolute Batman choking out an ICE, officer. And we've seen in Absolute Batman where Batman will beat the hell out of the cops too, because they're on some bullshit. Respect, corrupt cops and all. He's beating the hell out of them too. So Absolute Batman is standing on business. That's Scott Snyder, y'all. So Scott Snyder is not. He's not on that shit either. Now, is he saying specifically fuck ICE? No, but there are a lot of comic creators that are very much on that train, and good on them for standing on business. But to me, the one, and it's an explicitly, anti-fascist kind of comic, is V for Vendetta. And ICE, or the people that are like ICE, are all over that comic book. They're the enforcers. And ICE has been sent around, nominally to round up illegal, quote, illegal aliens or whatever. But they're really more provocateurs. If you really get down to it, look at it, they're provocateurs. They are a presence meant to draw out opposition to justify an eventual military presence in places that, dare to kind of stand up and not just let them walk in and walk over. And so V for the Vendetta shows that constantly, that these and they're like the people who are doing this like kind of enforcement or going around with with their badges and everything, and they're feeling like they're above the law. They're not trained. They're not specially trained, and so shit like this is going to happen. In fact, if you watch the V for Vendetta movie, if you remember, this is the Wachowskis back in the day. One of the things that sets off like the big unrest is a little girl that has a V mask, right? And she's wearing it, and then one of the enforcers shoots her and kills her, and then the neighborhood rolls out and tears him up. So, like, this anti-ICE thing, this is not new to comics. It's not new at all. They've been saying it for decades, that this is where we could go as long as you let your racism, because that's what it is here in America, is racism is what's pushing this. It's not America first. It's not the economy. It's not fucking, defense. It's none of that. None of that has anything to do with what ICE is doing. None of it. It's all racism. Everyone who tries to say it's anything else is a liar. That's not true. It is rooted in racism. And so because it's rooted in racism, it's going to take particular hold in America, because like most things in this country, it is rooted in white supremacy. So one way or another, it's white supremacy related. But the comics are trying to say, be better, and it's down this path lies ruin. And will we listen? That's a good question. So either way, I just want to have this little discussion and get it out of my head that ICE sucks. And, we can be better. And I think we can be better, but will we be better? We'll see. So let's talk about more fun stuff. Not interesting, but more fun stuff. Daredevil Born Again dropped a trailer. First of all, how dare they put this out the day? Was it the day of or the day before?
It was the day before. It was the day before Wonder Man premiere.
Hey, Marvel marketing, fuck y'all. I'm just gonna say it straight up.
So wrong for that.
Fuck you guys. How you're just stepping on Wonder Man. That being said, it's pretty cool though. That being said, it was pretty cool though. I really want you to take over most of this reaction. Like, What the main reason is, I'll say my little piece, but I'm on you mostly because you have most recently binged your way through Daredevil comics. You are more intimately aware of Matt Murdock and his
Well,
foolishness.
not that intimately, no, not
I
like
mean,
others.
it not. I mean, if he were alive, it wouldn't be for want of trying. For he would be. He'd be like, "Hey,
Hell no, I'm better than that.
Matt Murdock. If he were like, man, I've got a case here, but for some reason, if he ended up in Serbia, he'd be like, hey,
I'd be like, nope, no. I'm like I said, I'm better than that. Still, one of my favorite characters, absolute disaster. And you know what? The first moment, I opened this trailer, I clicked on it, what do I see? I see him happy. I'm not fine with that. No. I'm a big fan, but I'm on the side of Daredevil's villains. Whenever he's happy, whenever he's smiling, we gotta ruin it. That's the kind of character he is. I will not accept anyone trying to fix his life, trying to make him live his happily ever after with anyone. No, he has to suffer. If there is one character that has to suffer and needs to suffer, he enjoys suffering. So don't make him happy. And apparently, I mean, from the looks of it, they didn't. Oh yeah, we immediately see Bullseye. Bullseye won't let him just, enjoy his life. Yeah, he's probably not gonna kill off Karen because, I mean, they definitely not doing that. But what we do see is somebody kidnapping him or something, but definitely trying to make his life live in hell, which is good. He's gonna like that. He's gonna appreciate that. And I did not get an immediate comic book vibe. I couldn't place it. Any of the events that were happening. So it seems to me like they're taking some liberties, but they probably gonna go with the story arc that is following Fisk's election and stuff like that. Hopefully they're gonna include some events from the Chip Zdarsky's run, best in my opinion run on Daredevil. It does seem like they at least gonna play around with some concepts that and I think I mentioned it. It had a lot to do with police corruption and accountability. So that's probably gonna be in there.
Oh wait, you
Again,
said it had had to do with police corruption, and you said
yeah,
police accountability. I don't know how do you make a story
police accountability and superhero accountability.
Well, you said police accountability. How do you make a story about nothing? There's in America
it deals with these topics.
Well,
I was
gonna
doesn't necessarily have police accountability.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you make a story about police accountability, that's a short story. That ain't none. So
it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
the end.
Yeah, it's like a unicorn. You can describe it, but you'll never actually catch it.
Well, you know that there's Cole North, the character that is he is one of on the show. Yes, on the show he sucks absolutely, but in the comics he's one of Matt's friends. He went to hell with him, to
literal hell.
Back. Well, he didn't go to hell, but he was there when he was supporting him.
I know I'm interrupting you, but I fucking hate that character. From the TV show, and
he's really great in the comics. He's currently he's working as a private detective with Foggy, and he is he was one of the by the book cops until something happened. I don't remember in particular what happened, but he when he encountered Matt, and that was when Matt was he was either on the run from the police or something like he was wanted by the police. And in general, this whole task force and stuff like that was going on, was the thing. So during that time, he encountered Matt, and they kind of worked out the difference. He's a very like complex and interesting character in the comics. The way they portrayed him on the show, I was surprised personally because I expected them to like really take the character from the comics and make him like that way. He's absolutely redeemable now. If they're gonna try to redeem him, I don't know how they're gonna do that. It's gonna be really hard. It's not impossible, but it's gonna be really fucking hard. And I understand why people hate him. Same thing with Heather Glenn.
I'm sorry,
like
he's not redeemable. He's literally murdered a guy. So.
I mean, you know, as a true superhero would say, everybody is redeemable. Do I believe that? No. Do I believe that he is redeemable? I mean, it would take some.
He would need to go to prison. He would need to go to prison.
Like,
if he went to prison, then I'd be like, all right, I can see a redemption arc. Anything outside of prison, nope.
Again, did you think that like Peacemaker would be redeemable?
He should have went to prison too. I still liked him being redeemed.
He did.
I mean,
where is he now?
At the very least, I'll give you this much: as a member of Task Force X, Peacemaker is required on pain of death to follow Amanda Waller's directives. Now, it just so happens he was amenable to it anyway because he believes that his stupid credo and everything. But Cole North was protecting his own fucking ass and the ass of the other corrupt police officers when he murdered Hector Ayala. Therefore,
yeah, we don't particularly like. We don't even. I don't even think that we know what happened. What happened with him before that he needed to redeem himself to the rest of the police, which is how he ended up on that task force. We do know these things in the comics. It's a different story. So like these are two different characters. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we're getting off track too. I can relitigate that some other time. I didn't mean to get into that.
That's okay. That's what we're here for. Talk about superheroes. We are doing that. Just that. So yeah, seeing everyone, like, it all reminds you of what was going on in season 1. It's very exciting. I'm like really interested in the story that what Heather is gonna do, because like, again, very very hated character, but she did save herself. You know? Very hated character, but still very interesting because like she has such so much going on that would be interesting to get into. And like, did she technically break up with Matt? I don't know. We didn't see that happened off camera.
I mean, she went to go work. She went to go work for his enemy. I mean, like, she knows he's his. That's the thing. It's not like she's like, oh, I didn't know y'all were enemies.
Yeah, but she doesn't know he's Daredevil.
No, it's not that. She knows that they are adversaries as far as legal.
Yeah. But still, like, maybe she likes to keep her professional life and her personal life separate.
That's true, but she also knows that. And because for two reasons. One, they've definitely had conversations about Fisk. Two, she's a very respected psychologist too. So she's done enough to kind of like figure out like, Matt, you're lying to me, and like there's stuff there's stuff about your life that you're keeping away from. Like that. She's figured that out. She ain't figured out that he can't stand Wilson Fisk, and like to the point where like it is to the point where
some people are married to conservatives.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to justify like the. I mean, honestly, knowing what kind of person Matt Murdock is, I think like he might actually justify this somehow in his head. He probably won't, not in the show, but he could.
Yeah, it's either. I'm sorry again. I've gotten up. Yeah, Heather, she sucks, and I want to see exactly how much she's gonna suck in it. Like and I'm not saying she's a bad. She's not a bad character. I'm saying that I don't like her.
She's a great character. She's a great character because she's exactly what's needed to tell that kind of story. Yeah. With where we are at now.
She's compromised.
And
too.
Of course.
Super compromised.
The biggest point was probably seeing Jessica. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Will wanted to see her.
Yeah, and this reminds me, I need to fucking watch Jessica Jones at least like finish a season before, because the show's gonna be out in a couple months. Like, I need to get to it. That was, yeah. Seeing Jessica Jones was really cool. I always love seeing Karen. I know, I know she. Look, she didn't do it as much as I wanted her to, but I liked her a lot in the first season of this. Seeing Foggy back, yeah. Seeing we didn't talk. Well, not enough Wilson Fisk. He's got some stuff going on. I'm trying to. I'm like, there's all these.
Yeah,
little
he always
glimpses.
has stuff going on.
But also we see his two underlings. The young, I forget the name of
Wesley 2.0 and like Wesley
and they both
3.0.
they both suck, but like the young guy,
Wesley Jr. and Wesley Jr. Jr.
The young guy is the one that, like, he's frightening to me. I mean, I know he doesn't look it. He's frightening to me because he's part ambition and he's part true believer, and between those two things, he'll do anything. And I'm like, that is not. That's not.
He's
that is
like
scary.
like those guys that watch like this horrible grifter YouTubers.
Yeah.
He's like exactly like them. And that's what's terrifying. You're right.
He's not just writing code. That's the thing. It's one thing is if he were just a cynical opportunist. I can get that. I don't like it. I can get it. He's not. He's partly that, but really he's a true believer, and true believers they're terrifying.
And he would do shit like they would YouTubers that he watches, they would talk about like going on and harassing someone or like killing someone. He would go and do that.
Yeah, he would.
He's just that kind of person.
You know who he is? He's the guy that what was it? It was at Henry was it the eighth? I can't remember. It was eighth or whatever. King Henry, when he was, I can't remember which one. When he was like, "Won't someone rid me of this bothersome, priest?" And then somebody was like, "Bet, I got you, dog." He's that guy, the one that went and killed Sir Thomas More. Yeah, he's that guy. And God, he's like I said, he's more frightening to me than Bullseye, because Bullseye, you at least get where he's coming from, right? I mean, I'm not saying you don't get where he's coming, but Bullseye at the very least,
he's insane.
Yeah, but he's. I think that he's a bit more not sympathetic, but he's less
predictable.
He's less frightening because they're, it's kind
but
of. But
that's kind of the point of his characters. He's a sharpshooter. Like he's the bullseye. He shoots. Like he will kill you.
He's got a target.
That's predictable. This guy, he will torture you before killing you.
Yeah, he's this guy. If it makes sense to him, if it's gonna make Wilson Fisk happy, it's just like it's not. There's nothing he won't do, and I think Bullseye. Ultimately, he would kill fewer people if that would get him get his target. He will kill you if you're in the way, but if you're not the target and you're not in the way, he doesn't really care. Like, he'll pass by you. This guy, I don't know if I can believe that. So, I thought it was a good trailer though. I enjoyed it. Look,
it was awesome. It was an awesome trailer. It doesn't give away too much. It does remind you of like all the storylines that are going on. Gets you excited as hell. It's gonna be good. yeah,
definitely. So Marvel TV looks like they're gonna be on a roll. So that's March 16th, I think. So
I think 15, 16. 15. I don't remember in particular, but like we're gonna get way more as we get closer to that.
Yeah, we're gonna get at least one more. We're gonna get at least one more.
There's gonna be so much promotion, posters. They're gonna remind you weekly, like turn on your phone, turn on your reminders, TV spots, all of that.
All the money that they saved on the Ironheart promo, and they're like, nah, Ironheart doesn't need this. We're gonna give this to Daredevil because
because like nobody likes Daredevil. Nobody knows about.
Nobody knows about Daredevil at all. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on this. We'll talk about this when we get more information. So that leads us to what I'm going to assume is a 20-minute discussion about Wonder Man, which dropped all of its episodes on Tuesday. When they said that was going to happen, I was like, oof, I don't love that, because usually when Disney drops all of them at once, that is an indication of not good. But
or they don't care.
or they don't care. It's one of the two. But also, it has proven to not be true in the last year because Ironheart and Marvel Zombies both dropped all at once, and what was it, Eyes of Wakanda, all dropped at once, and they were great. So let's just say I went into this a little more optimistic. Also, I thought the trailers were interesting. Um, and also the they had some, some people early kind of reviews, reactions, whatever. When they finally let people talk about it, nothing but good. So I posted my little meme about, hey, we back up, right? Hey, let everybody know we back up. I had high hope for this, and I did not expect the shit to exceed my expectations. Look, my hopes were high. I was like, okay, all right, we might have something here. Like this is probably gonna be good. Let me see what's up. And like it's more. It's more. Like I wanna get into it a little bit more, but the most thing I say about it is you don't have to know anything. All you have to know is there's people with superpowers. And there's you gotta like watching a good like little character piece, TV show. You don't have to know anything else about this. In fact,
if you watched Iron Man 3 and Civil War, you're set. You're good.
Yeah, if you watch those two, or maybe you maybe you got to look at Miss Marvel because there's a little bit in that. Maybe you watched a little bit of Captain America: Brave New World. It's not necessary.
Probably though. You should check out Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi would be helpful.
Not
too.
Just because it's fucking fantastic, but because it has to do.
Yeah, just so you know where Trevor Slattery is. But I think I knew from the trailers once they like, oh yeah, Ben Kingsley's back as Trevor Slattery. I was like, oh, I'm in. You don't even have to say anything else. I love Trevor Slattery. I loved him in Shang-Chi. I really liked him a lot in Iron Man 3. And just kind of seeing the fact that they're like, let's just throw him in here. I'm like, well, he's not going to do anything but elevate whatever it is, because he's kind of like Luis from Ant-Man, where if he's in it, you're like, yeah, this, like, whatever he's doing, he's killing that scene. But what I did not expect, that this really is a two-hander. It's mostly about Yahya Abdul-Mateen's Simon Williams, but Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery is very prominent in it, and only for the good. Like as a kind of a buddy comedy about the things that Hollywood loves to talk about. You know what Hollywood's its absolute favorite subject is itself. Hollywood loves to talk about being in Hollywood. They love to talk about being an actor, making movies. And so they made a whole MCU show about the life of an actor, right? And they poke fun lovingly at the process, and kind of made a big character study that I didn't realize. It was a character study about Simon Williams, but also in many ways about Trevor Slattery, and from a joke character to like a kind of a more complex character than we knew. And also for good measure, they're like, also the prison industrial complex sucks. And also, all of you superhero fans, we get tired of all y'all's armchair, your armchair quarterback, day after, prognostications and shit like that about what's good and how to make good things and everything. You don't know anything. We talked about this earlier. Us fans, we don't know anything, and so they're giving us a glimpse inside of it. And what it turns out to be is a damn good TV show. Probably one of the best things that the MCU has ever produced. That's fresh. That's not retreading anything. That's not, it's not taking its cues from other things. It's doing its own thing. It's doing the thing that good comics, good miniseries. You ever read comics, the monthly comics, cool, they're doing superhero stuff. But sometimes you just get like a one-off 5-issue thing that is just not any of that stuff. It's just kind of telling a story, right? Within the context of the Marvel or DC comics. And they get a chance to just kind of do things narratively that you would never do in an ongoing comic. And then they finish the story, close the doors, turn off the lights, and you just had a good experience and you go back to what you were doing, right? That's what it feels like here. But also, it makes me want to see what the fuck else happens. Like, it's a Marvel spotlight. Please do not take the spotlight off of these two characters, because Trevor and Simon Williams as a duo is fucking amazing. And I loved it. Anyway, I got more to say. I want to hear what you had to say, though.
I did say like in I did a post on Threads yesterday. I didn't say a lot, but pretty much all most of what I wanted to say in the moment. As soon as I finished the show, I do think that it's like nothing else in the MCU, and one of the most important things about it is that it is a story about people. It's not a story about superheroes, because none of them are doing like the superhero shit. It's a story about people, and it's a story about like being persecuted. Persecuted. I don't remember.
Persecute. You got persecuted.
Yes, right. Thank you. It's a story about that too. It's a story about like living in this world that is full of superheroes. This is full of like other people's drama that is huge and larger than everything you ever could imagine. And it's about trying to do like your thing. Kind of like I heard a lot of people talking about how it does feel like Simon is a mutant, and it truly does, because like they don't confirm it, they don't talk about it, but the backstory does fit in many ways, because like the stress of losing his father, and then like that kitchen fire, and he is 13 years when it happens, so that's about the time when mutant powers usually start manifesting. It does feel familiar, but the surroundings and the story, and like the fact that he has to hide, that all does sound a lot like a X-Men story, like a mutant story, not an X-Men story, because like that mean joining the team. And I absolutely love that. I love that it didn't rely on more well-known heroes, or like heroes in general at all. They mention them, like mention the events and the stuff that is happening, but they don't necessarily have them in the story. And Simon is not a hero. He's not gonna do that. It's not in like he is not planning on doing that, on joining a team, on joining like the Avengers and stuff. And he just wants to live his life, and he just wants to be who he wants to be, which is another plot thread that is very interesting, like his journey, why he wants to be an actor, why his process, how he approaches it, of course like his road to success. And at the same time, it kind of like reminded me of She-Hulk, because she also didn't want to join any teams, she just wanted to like keep doing what she's doing. So that's kind of like a different side of having superpowers. Absolutely love that. And of course, yes, Trevor's whole arc. It's very interesting because, like, first of all, the fact that it mirrors what we know was happening in the Wonder Man movie, it's really brilliant.
Yeah.
And everything about like his whole journey, it's like we understand that he's not all there, like not all present, he's in his own little world. He obviously spent some time in Talo, came back, and like he's still like I said, he doesn't seem like he's all fully 100% present or understands what's going on. But the fact that he's like he manages to get out of everything somehow. Like he's at the end, and this is a huge spoiler, but at the end he is free. How does he do that?
He makes good friends. He makes friends
pure
or
luck,
enemies.
or like just he's just lucky. He's like survived so much at this point. The dude, like, he just can't die or like can suffer any consequences.
I don't want to say he fails up. That's not quite right. He doesn't fail up, but he
spends like time in
he kind of bumbles
being captured.
Yeah. He kind of bumbles his way in and out of situations
Yeah.
which actually makes that it actually makes his final moves, if you will, his final decisions in the eighth episode hit much harder because
That's the first time he
yeah
actually does something.
he intentionally does
Hmm.
something, and it's not a bumble or anything. It's purposeful, and it's like
Hmm.
it pays off, like I think a very long story arc that went back from Iron Man 3. Like it
Yeah,
pays it
yeah.
off
And
way back there.
there is like it's kind of like an illustration of his whole life when he is in, I think it was like episode 2 or 3, but like when him and Simon were running around like with
Hmm.
the candy makers and the stuff, that whole thing, it's his life. His life is all like that.
Hmm.
Things just happen to him or around him. He just he has
Right,
no
right.
control over it. And Simon trying to like take control of it and realizing that it's just impossible. It's just also revealing because obviously he likes to control everything.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
like a really good contrast between the two characters, and they're like an unlikely duo, but very good one. They
Exactly.
have great chemistry too. So
Exactly.
there's.
Yeah, I think that this is the best acting that we in the entire MCU. I it's which is, I don't want to say ironic, it's fitting for a show about acting. It's like the show about an actor and his actor's process and journey, and how you go from nobody to somebody, right? How how you can be too much in your head about it, how different perspectives get you to this can get you to the same place. um how friends are super important. I think that's a big theme of the show that kind of gets underscored by the fact that Simon doesn't have friends, right? To the point where it's very easy for Trevor to kind of get into his life because of that fact that he's just acting. He's an actor with no friends. And in fact, is at his lowest point in his life. Well, not lowest in his life, but in his professional life. But they are like, who would have, if you had asked me 10 years, and 10 years ago, is that right? It's less than 10 years ago. But Aquaman, the very first Aquaman, Yahya Abdul-Mateen was in the first Aquaman. He's
Mm.
very good in it. If you had told me then he and Ben Kingsley were going to unite on screen and have like ridiculous chemistry, on-screen chemistry, I don't know if I'd have believed you. And yet, the two of them they are a match made in heaven. I really do believe that that's true. They play off of each other so well. And there's a lot of meta to it too, because they're talking about acting. These are two actors who are clearly excellent. Like Yahya Abdul Mateen, considering how relatively new his career is, has he really has kind of like the presence of someone who's been at it a long time. And he's on screen with one of the greats. Ben Kingsley he's one of the greats, and they're just so effortlessly present with each other and play off of each other, and they hit their marks, they hit the emotional parts. And then the meta aspect is within the scenes of them acting as Simon and Trevor, they're also Simon and Trevor acting. That monologue scene was like I love that scene so much, where they're just trading monologues. They are actors who are they are actors who are playing actors who are acting, which is like, oh, like it's like Inception. It's like Inception levels of acting. Um, it's beautiful. There are no bad performances in this show. Not one. Name one. I dare you. Dare you to name one person that wasn't bringing it. Every single person that gets a chance to get on this screen and shine, no matter how short amount of time, they do it. Every single one of them. Um, and I think it's also because of these actors. In some ways, they are playing people that they know. If you think about it, the actor, I don't know her name, and I need to look her up, that played Janelle, the agent, Simon's
Agent.
agent, you know she's channeling somebody she knows. You know it. You have to feel it. She's channeling somebody she knows. Remember the one of the producers that fired Simon. You know they're playing somebody they know, or at least they've met. There's like so they all these people are channeling people that they know or they've met or they've worked with, and it all feels really real. Like I believe everything that's happening in this show, even the ridiculous things. Um, they bring back Agent Cleary, right? Last time we saw, where was the last time we saw? What's the last thing we saw him
I think
in?
it was Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, but he was also like Spider-Man. Like, wasn't he in like Spider-Man? The first
maybe.
Homecoming. He was in Homecoming. I want to say.
Look, or maybe wasn't he like in what was it? The No Way Home?
Yeah, probably it might have been No Way Home, but
Because
he's
I don't know, 'cause, like I watched it only twice.
but he's in Damage Control. His whole thing, like his whole point is to present the fact that the prison industrial complex doesn't work. It's if it doesn't have prisoners, and so he's a bit of comic relief, but also a menace that kind of moves the story forward. Like none of the things happen without him. And nothing wonderful that happens in this story can happen without Agent Cleary. And I love to hate him. Like he did a great job. Just like the stakes are hella low, like really really low in this. It really is about just whether or not one man is going to realize his dreams or if he's going to go to prison, right?
I mean, the stakes are low for you, not for
Well,
him.
I mean, not for him, but
It
like,
kind of does feel like it's a very important shit is going on because you kind of sympathize with Simon, so you feel like it's
yeah,
important that he succeeds. And all the time I was like slightly afraid that he's not gonna.
even though you can sort of feel it, but there are inside reference, like real people, like we get to meet real actors who are actually playing themselves with or a version of themselves. Like Joe Pantoliano is in it, and Josh Gad, hilariously so. Um, and so we get to see like this real, like I said, this is actors talking about being actor, or writers talking about actors, or you know what I'm saying. We also get a tragic story within the story of Doorman, which is its own excellent, interesting episode that really kind of talks about the pitfalls and allure of stardom, and how you know it can all be taken away. You can be up and then be down, and then we don't know what happened to Doorman. We're assuming he's a prisoner. We're gonna assume he's a prisoner because of something that
I mean,
happens
they
with.
did say that they're gonna continue
Yeah,
watching him. We don't know if he's like, probably he's like in prison. Yeah,
yeah.
that exact prison.
I mean, we also, but we have that whole feature episode. There's a part where Simon's Haitian. He's Haitian American, right? So his whole heritage and his family and everything, you get to. There's a whole episode where you get to see stuff about that, which is awesome for representation. Um,
And after you watch it, it kind of does make sense why it had to be released the whole thing, because it doesn't, like, if you wait
yeah,
week
yeah,
to
yeah,
week for all these things that are focusing on a particular theme or on a particular element or on a backstory for some character that is just mentioned once, it kind of like it would have been hard to sell that, and it would have been hard
right.
for people to stay present. They would have been like, this is a filler, this is a filler, but this is a whole story and
That's
it requires
exactly
these fillers. And when you watch it all in one day, or like on your own at your own pace, it does feel like a whole experience, and you
mm,
experience the whole story, and you can
exactly.
understand it, how they got from point A to point B.
No, I agree. Like, I was like, well, you should go week to week. I don't know if it works week to week. Uh, but I think that you could watch it week to week and it'd still be fine. But there's also the continuity between, like you said, filler. I don't even count any of this as filler. I think every minute of this show is used correctly and properly. it's
Well,
more like,
technically, like the Dorman episode is like
yeah,
100% a filler
it's
because it
filler. Yeah,
deals with something that could have been said or
yeah,
explained, like in
exactly.
some, or shorter. But no, they make a whole showcase out of
And
it.
it's not just
And it's amazing. It's visually amazing. It's acted brilliantly. It's like it
that's a
talks about
good
interesting topics.
that's a, actually that's that whole episode is the Maxim show don't tell. Like that's that
Mm-hmm.
entire episode is, we're gonna show you. We're not gonna tell. We're just gonna show you. Like, so you'll, and it's very effective. Like I was like, oh, I wish this episodes were longer. But when I thought about it, I was like, they didn't need to be longer. They were exactly what they
Yeah.
needed to be. Like the
Uh,
editing on this show is phenomenal. The pacing
true.
on this show is fine. There,
Everything, yeah, it just
yeah,
works.
it's like, and again, this is a relatively low stakes show, so you don't have to feel at the edge of your seat in order for something interesting or amazing to be happening on on the show, on the screen. It's not breakneck speed. It's a character focused show that has some cool stuff happen, but often a lot of the drama is just interpersonal. Often a lot of the drama, the situational drama, is small stakes but narratively interesting. And so when you find, in fact, the only thing that's the least narratively interesting aspect is damage control. And it really is just a catalyst for things happening. And eventually for the resolution, it's a bit of a catalyst for the resolution. That's the least interesting thing that's happening. And they're the ones that are most explicitly MCU. Everything else that's happening, it's just about like a guy and his friend trying to navigate Hollywood, and they're poking fun at the Hollywood process, and it's fun. Like the guy that played the director, Kovac. What an interesting person. And the whole callback deal where they're doing like the callback you know
Shoes thing.
it was like that entire episode. It's an episode where they're just acting and they're doing, trying to decide who's going to be Wonder Man. And it's
Hmm.
hella and it has an interesting scene with like a one visual that probably is going to be on a meme. I think I've seen someone post it. But there's
It's a
nothing
GIF already.
there's nothing quote exciting happening in terms of MCU action, and yet it's still a beautifully crafted episode of superhero TV. I could go on and on. We're going a bit long here, but I think it's an excellent show. I think it's rewatchable.
I
Um,
first of all, like I not first of all because we've been talking about this for a while, but I have to ask you, like, how how long did it take you to figure out the plot twist?
I'm gonna say which plot. Like I was trying to figure out what plot twist were you talking about.
I was talking about like the fact that Trevor's gonna like turn.
Oh, that Trevor was gonna ultimately do the right thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that from the moment he like.
See,
I, well, I mean,
I wasn't thinking about this, but like I at some point, like when they were talking, when Simon was calling his mom and
mhm,
talking to her, and there was like this whole scene, I was like, oh yeah, no, they ain't looking for you.
yeah.
But that was the point.
that
And I thought like, oh, got more probably figured it out
oh
like
you're talking about
second
that. Oh,
one
you're
because
you're you're talking about that one. Oh, I think they did a decent job of being like, oh, they're coming to get him, and I was like, I think I think the moment I realized it was, I might have realized at the same time you did, but I was
no,
like,
that can't be.
well, no, I
I
was
think
just
you knew at episode one.
no, no, I never thought that Trevor, because this was clear. I think his character plot line was pretty clearly that he's been boxed into doing something he doesn't want to do.
Hmm.
Then it's like what's the Fast and the Furious and Heat, where the undercover cop goes in and actually finds out, oh, I actually like the bad guy. Oh no,
No,
actually,
yeah,
we have a lot in common. Well, actually, I probably should let him get away. Like I'm gonna choose to let him get away, even though I shouldn't. And so
Yeah,
I,
but that was a pretty big thing to like take a fall for him. That was.
yeah, well, but I kind of saw that he would not actually follow through because he was having misgivings about it way like early on. So his misgivings were
Hmm.
starting to show. And once he broke that little recorder, I was like, oh, he's in. He's 100% in on like saving this guy, saving Simon from damage control. And so it
I mean,
didn't
you know,
surprise me.
a part of it was like, to me, a part of it, like halfway through, he was thinking about himself too because he wanted to play in that big movie. He wanted to
Right.
like act, and he did it for himself too. So really, he. mm he actually made the decision, like when he actually made this decision at the end, that's the moment when I felt that like it was genuine. But
Right.
before that, he was kind of doing it for himself too. He wanted to drag this thing as long as he could so he could be in the movie.
Well, and it feels like that, but I'm saying the point I knew that that's not what was going when he told Cleary like, look, you got to let me go at my own pace and whatever. And he told Simon like I was buying you some time so I could figure out how to fix this. I thought he was absolutely sincere about that. He hit the point at which he knew he couldn't actually give damage control. He couldn't give Simon to damage control was well before Simon showed him that he had superpowers. It's well before that. He the thing is he knew it, he had been feeling it, and it was that moment when they were talking in the car that he knew he couldn't do it. So everything after that was just like trying to figure out how to, how to buy time, how to keep them on the hook without necessarily having them swoop in and get Simon. And so when Simon finally, finds out and he has his outburst, yeah, now he's got to figure out. He said he would fix it. He was going to figure out how to fix it, and he realized in that moment, I can't let him. I can't let him go down. I've got to fix this because in a ways it's my fault. Um, and so what you were asking, when did I figure
know?
out when did I figure out
Mm,
that he actually took the fall as opposed to Simon?
mm.
Again, probably at the same because I think the moment I realized it is I was like, if there were people coming to get him, I'd hear more. You'd hear more out. They were doing a good job of disguising it. But if you've seen other movies like this where they were like, "Oh, we're coming," like I've seen many movies where they're like, we're gonna storm and go get him," and then it turns out like he wasn't there. I was like, okay, this is. I probably knew about the time when, um, after he got off the phone with his mom, maybe a little bit. No, after they were like, we're going to go get him. Maybe a little bit after that, when they were like, we're going to get him. I was like, no, it makes sense. But
And when
and
did you figure out that
well, when he said
when he went no when he went to the guy at the end, like to the guy who
oh, I
worked
knew immediately
at the.
as soon as he went and said, I want to learn about you, and they were out in
Mhm.
the middle of nowhere, and I was like,
Yeah, same.
I knew immediately. I was like, oh, that's a prison guard right there. I was like, oh,
Yep.
that guy's a prison guard at the thing. He's going to, and look, and again, fuck this. We'll go long. I want to talk about this. I love that last half of that. Um, Part of it makes me hate that I liked it so much because look, the guy was a prison guard, so he's kind of part of the prison industrial complex. He's a cog in a terrible, terrible system.
He did explain it though.
Yeah, I get it, but he works out there also, but they humanize the shit out of him, so I'll give him a pass on this. He doesn't like doing it. That's his job. Like he lives in a shitty nowhere place with a good job looking after nominally terrible people, but he actually once he's worked in there, he realizes I mean, this could be like, circling back around the ice, a guy that works in a detention facility and it's just like, are we the bad guys here? And it's making him physically sick. Like he's experiencing nightmares and like sleeplessness and all this other stuff going on in his life is just like weighing on him. He's not evil. He's a guy that's going to do something as a part of kind of a bad system. And and it's weighing on him. And I love that Simon, he lied to him. Obviously, he's like, I'm in, researching the role,
Mm.
but in researching the role, he does what any actor would do, which is he learns something about the person that he's trying to learn. He's trying to be this person, right? And in doing so, he makes a connection to him where he gets really in his head and understands where he's coming from, so that at the end of it, he knows I'm fucking this guy's life up, right? I'm screwing this guy's life up. Let me break him off so he doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to care. He doesn't have to worry about the medical bills and all these other things that are making it hard for him to live a good and healthy life, right? Which is why
Yeah,
the part where he's just like, if you're gonna be me, I don't care about I don't care about having good health or whatever. I don't run. I don't do any of this stuff. That's not me. And he's like, well, we're gonna maybe we could just make you better anyway. That's Simon showing he's made a connection. He really cares about this guy and his family. And he wants him to be okay, even though he knows that he's ultimately going to betray the guy's trust because he has a larger goal in mind. But he also does right by the guy, and I love that. Like, I love every aspect of that final part. Not just the, yeah, hell yeah. I was like, fuck yeah, when he got Trevor out and everything. But also the fact that before all of that stuff, and this maybe is a microcosm of the show in general, it puts character ahead of spectacle. Every moment it has to do spectacle is a payoff of a lot of character work. And so that whole back end is just character work, character work, character work, spectacle. And I'm like, if that's how y'all are going to play this show, you're doing it right. Because I ultimately, spectacle without any like connection to the characters is whatever. So anyway,
yeah,
I loved it. Thanks for bringing it up, by the way. I
absolutely.
I, I was thinking about it, and I forgot I forgot to bring it up.
Yeah, there are like so many details that if you go back and think about all of them,
Oh,
there are so many like tiny elements from like design and the look of it, from like tiny details like when Trevor gets off the plane, he has this Liverpool scarf on
yeah.
his suitcase. Like so much.
And
Um,
uh, well, there's also like the family dynamic. Um, his,
right.
his brother, like, he was like, me and my brother have a complicated. He's like, oh no, he just said nothing but good thing. He's talking about how you struggled and how
But
inspiring,
that's,
and
you
like,
know, that's
and I was just
that's so
like,
familiar. Like if you have siblings, that is so familiar. They would talk shit to your
this
face
is
and
what
then like turn around and say, "Hey, he is the
I'm
best."
like, I'm proud, and then to see that pay off even more in the premiere where he's tearing up and like, and because one other thing
Hmm.
is, he has to know that his dad's favorite movie was Wonder Man, so there's a personal connection to their dad, and like Simon is kind of like sort of making that connection even more real because of his new portrayal. Like, there's so many layers to this, like
And
it,
like his attention, Simon's personal attention to details from like that point where he did the American Horror Story and
yeah,
he
and
wanted
he
everything to like fit his backstory, to the point where he got the original glasses from the original movie
yeah,
on the set of his movie, and that made him super excited and super happy to do it. That is
beautiful.
awesome. That is like, yeah,
It's the back, and Trevor and again Trevor and Simon being such a good duo. How Trevor sands off some of the worst edges of Simon, that where
mm-hmm.
he gets in his own way, but also Trevor is in a way kind of sloppy about in his way, and so Simon's sort of attention to detail also kind of perks him up, right? They're like a dynamic duo in the sense that they shore up each other's weaknesses. So whenever one of them is in a spot, the other one can kind of raise him up, or shore him up. It's like, God, it's such thoughtful writing. It's we
Yeah.
we need more of this. Who are the writers on
This is,
this?
you know,
We
when
know who are the
people
writers on
say
this.
that they like want buddy cop comedy or something,
Mhm.
about this is what they want.
Yeah,
Like
but what
if you don't if you've been asking for that kind of a show and you don't watch this, you're missing out.
yeah,
And also, like, what else are you asking for?
and we
This is
do,
awesome.
yeah, we don't need the propaganda to have a fun little buddy comedy. So anyway, we could go on and on. This is great. Go watch it. Go rewatch it. Blow them up on social media.
Stream it.
If anybody that worked on the show, like they're posting on social media now because it's out, go show them some love. Like just in general, y'all say y'all want new shit, you want fresh things, you want not more of the same. This is it. And if you don't support this, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear about your complaints. Anyway, that's all.
Go cry to your mom.
Yeah. Go debate with your mom.
Who's also busy watching it?
Well, she's watching it for the plot, and of course the plot is Yahya Abdul-Mateen second.
Oh yeah.
All right. So anyway, that's all of our news and for this week. This was a good time. I really quite enjoyed our conversation. But maybe we missed something. Maybe you agree with us, disagree with us, just want to show some love, troll, whatever the case may be. Maybe you want to defend ICE. Don't do that in my comments. Anyway, but whatever the case may be, get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blurred_force1 on Instagram, on Threads, on TikTok. Also on Upscroll, but I don't know if I'm gonna be actually using Upscroll all that much. We'll see. Don't count on it. I'm not great at keeping up with other social media. Anyway, and while you're doing that, go down there and hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see this podcast and all of the other things we do on Blurred Force 1. And of course, couldn't do it by myself. I needed Polly to come in with her comics knowledge and also, to remind me of some stuff from Wonder Man. I can't believe I missed that stuff. I'm so glad you were there to let me gush about the show some more. So anyway, where can I reach you on social media?
It's always _mixed on Threads, on Instagram, on Tumblr.
Everywhere except Twitch. Everywhere except Twitch, not Twitch.
Eventually, okay. Just give me some time. I need my process.
Well, you know what
I'm gonna be there. Eventually.
Well, she's got to go through a process. She's got to get the backstory and really kind of embody the character. So it may take a little time. She got to figure out what book would she be holding?
My life
at the time. What book would she be holding while she's packing up? Anyway, if you watch Wonder Man, you know what I just said. Anyway, this has been what a good episode. Episode 217 of the Supercast. Thanks for joining us. Come back next week. We are going to be talking. Well, shoot, what is coming out next week? I have no idea. with Wonder Man gone out, I'm like, what else? I'm sure other stuff is going to be coming out. So we'll be talking about the news. Until then, I've been Mo, your comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by my good friend Polly, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace. Thank you.